Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. Today is Wednesday. Tip your cap the hamster watch. Get your waffle irons ready. It does still feel like we are going to have a little bit of waffling, and at the very least, when it comes to like one vote scenario today.
Absolutely. It can't be Wednesday without some waffles.
Yeah, hopefully everybody is hungry. But, Jess and I, we're also eating pretty good right now today because something kind of cool happened on the live feeds last night.
Yeah, Barrett did a whole bunch of shout outs and he shouted us out, which was really cool. Like, we've been covering Big Brother a very long time, but Big Brother is not like our main shows that we cover here. Like we do cover some reality TV. We're going to be covering The Traitors coming up, in September. And, we have covered Survivor here, but we are mostly a scripted channel where we're covering, Pluribus and, all of these types of shows right now. We're covering Silo and Ted Lasso, Dexter coming up. So it's really cool to be recognized in the Big Brother community. We are kind of in our own little corner of the internet when it comes to Big Brother, because most of the other channels really focus on reality TV only and aren't in the scripted, realm as well. We have been shouted out once before. Well, I should more say Matt has been shouted out before by Turner. He forgot my name, didn't remember who I was, and that's fine. But it's really special to me to actually be remembered as part of this partnership, because that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I feel really, really happy about this one. It made me feel really, really good. And, it's just...
Thank you, Barrett.
We do...
But still, we need you to start playing the game more.
Well, this is the thing. Like, there was a part of me that wanted to come into this video today and be like, Barrett, thanks, but also don't watch our last few videos because we weren't that nice to you. But then I kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? If Barrett was on the outside of the house right now, and let's just say Bob was in there in his place and he's watching Bob, he's going to be very honest about the game that Bob is playing.
I agree that Barrett would absolutely call out the same stuff that we did. I feel like he'll respect it.
Yeah, so like that's the thing with him, and he is playing a game that is very deferential to D right now. I mean, we'll see if that changes, but in this particular video, like, we're going to talk a lot about the greater alliance around Barrett and the crossovers, where there's some debating as to whether or not they may actually be able to bring in Mallory and Melody. How long could that last? Is there mutual benefit there? I think there's a lot of interesting back and forth that's been going on here.
But before we go any further, be sure to subscribe here to the channel. We have Big Brother updates for you every single day here. Like I did mention, we are also covering Ted Lasso. We have Silo going on right now, and we do have a lot of scripted TV coming up in the fall. American Horror Story, Dexter. We're hoping Only Murders is going to be back sometime, maybe October, November. We have a lot going on here, so thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. That is so very appreciated. All right, let's just dive headfirst now into the state of the campaign, where I think it's very clear if Barrett is on the block after the blockbuster, he's going to be fine, and either Chuk or Haley are going. So we're just going to throw that out the window. We don't need to spend any real time talking about that.
No, Barrett is safe in pretty much every scenario.
Yeah, so this is it. If Barrett wins the blockbuster and we are down to Chuk and Haley, what actually happens here? And I think this is where, I think it's easy to say right now, all right, Haley is going to be evicted, and I would lean towards it's likely going to happen, but it's just, there are so many people who are talking about and debating this that it kind of just feels like if everyone just sits down and talks about this together, they're probably going to realize that keeping Haley is better for, I don't want to say everyone's game, but for a lot of people in the house, it definitely is.
Absolutely. If they are able to keep Haley, who most of the house doesn't like, and she does not win the next HOH, then this could be just a really easy week for whoever is the HOH next week. She'll continue to be a target, and that will be great for everybody.
Yeah, and whereas Chuk is basically a Big Brother seat filler in a way right now, where he's not, listen.
You're not wrong, but ouch.
I wanted to like Chuk. He's from my hometown of Dallas. Like, I came into this, he's just like, so many people from my greater Dallas area have disappointed me on this show, but it's just that he hasn't really done anything that makes me feel like he's going to suddenly make game moves. Yeah, he won a safety comp, but Haley's won head of household. It just feels like if Chuk stays, he's just going to stay going on the block, and then whoever is up there next to him will probably go because Chuk doesn't have anyone.
That's right.
Nobody really trusts him. And his campaign has also just sucked over the past 24 hours. I mean, yeah, sure, he's talked to people, but you've already got Kamu out here who's just like complaining to Devins and Taylor, and he's just like, Chuk is so delusional. He's walking around saying he's got the votes to stay versus Barrett, and it's just like, yeah, it's Chuk's fault for thinking that, but Kamu, you are also telling him that.
I know. Like, of course he's going to be thinking that.
Yeah, so it's like Chuk is misguided because he's being told. Like, you got to be fair to Chuk to some extent.
Yes.
On some of that. It's like Drew. Like, Drew was told all these things last week, and it's just like, how is he supposed to know the other? I think the big problem with Chuk is that he has been so dependent on this bigger Toolshed alliance for many weeks that he was never challenged with the prospect of, oh, you have to go and play your own game. And so like he's having to figure that out on the fly, and it's not going well because like he also tried another campaign to Kamu, and this campaign was basically him complaining. You know, we talked to you guys yesterday about how Taylor has been trying to be his campaign coach.
Yes.
And be like, you can do this, go and tell people, don't just rely on being a shield. And now Chuk is like, why is she out here trying to tell me what to do and how to play this game and how to campaign?
Oh, it hurts my heart, Chuk. Taylor was actually trying to help you out here, my guy.
She was trying in the event that you stay, that you had somewhere potentially to go. But now you have given Kamu all of this information so that if you do stay, he could just throw you under the bus so hard to Taylor.
And he will.
Yeah, it's just, he is so bad when it comes to trying to give people reasons, like to the extent that Haley, who is not good at Big Brother, who is extremely abrasive, she's at least done a better job than Chuk.
Yep.
She has made amends with Angela. She had a conversation with Drew, which was very weird. I can count on my one hand here how many times I've seen these two have solo conversations this season.
Okay, but I really appreciate that Haley is willing to talk to people that she doesn't have a good relationship, because every single vote can count and can matter. And I do appreciate when people are on the block that they are willing to have those hard conversations with people that they don't really vibe with or haven't really played much game with. I mean, they are technically in the same alliance, but they just don't have any relationship. So good for her for at least doing that. Now, Chuk can go.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting to me if Haley does stay in the game. And this is why, if you're rooting for this, I don't really blame you, because it's like she has already kind of come up with this surprisingly correct theory that the icons are really to blame for a lot of what has happened to her in the game. Like, she's talked about this with Drew, and then like separately, she has started to talk a little bit more about how she wants to nominate potentially Dee, Devins, and Lala. And yeah, there's a chance Lala just goes in this scenario, but like,
yes, it's pretty good.
Here's the one thing that would make this really compelling television is that if you want to potentially get rid of Dee at this point in the game, you have to nominate her and Devins together, because otherwise Devins is going to use that diamond power of veto on her. Like, Dee could actually stay on the block in this configuration, and if she is on the block after the blockbuster, I think at the very least, I'm not saying it's going to happen because we got Drew and Barrett and, you know, they might think it's too early or whatever.
Yes.
There might be conversations about this. And if Haley wants to potentially get up Angela as a replacement nominee in this scenario, like, things could change yet again. Like, she has plans that I think people could get behind, even if they don't want to get behind Haley herself.
Yeah, except Drew and Barrett are not going to turn on the icons at this point in the game. They're just not.
No, it's really, really hard to think that's going to happen. But like, Haley has relayed information to Chuk that it's like, all right, basically one of them is going to go, which Drew trying to do a solid here, trying to do a nice thing for somebody else. And then yet again, do we believe him? Like, is Drew telling us that it's like, can no one in this house actually believe Drew?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just so ridiculous. But okay, that's where everything is with that campaign. It's probably going to go back and forth. I would not be surprised if either one of them ends up being evicted on Thursday.
Absolutely. It's not going to be Barrett.
Okay, well, this is where we think a little bit more long term, just because of the prospect of, is it really going to happen that Mallory and Melody could work with this Crossovers Alliance for, at the very least, a week or two and try to make something solidified?
It actually seems like this is where it's going. And I mean, it's not a bad move where it's like, if you obviously you don't want to go to the end with the vets or the icons at all. Nobody wants to sit at the end with them. You're going to lose. But at the same time, Mallory and Melody have been on the outs on this other side of the house for the whole game. So to actually be able to kind of feel like, okay, maybe we can get like a week or two of safety by working with them, and then we can deal with this situation. Why wouldn't you look at doing something like that?
Like, this ultimately feels like a perfect alliance of convenience for a lot of people in the house. And like,
it also works very well for Drew and Barrett, who is working with them.
Yeah, like they're the big winners of this whole idea, which is just that they can keep both sides together for another week or so.
Yeah, this is something that Drew actually tried to kind of pitch yesterday, and they were kind of like, but now it seems like maybe possibly.
They're getting, I think they're getting somewhere, mostly just because of who is being targeted on all sides in this equation.
Right.
Because we have over here with Mallory and Melody where, Mallory, she's talked about looking at D, going after D here or there, but with Drew and Barrett in her ear, and also Camus just Camuing up the place where he's irritating a lot of people in the house. He's coming across as being full of himself, but it's also just the fact that he has tried to jump ship on his allies. He's a competition threat. Like, you combine all of these things. Like, Mallory and Melody right now are focused on Camus. And if you are the icons, I think you have to think, if this is true, okay, this isn't us. This also keeps Barrett happy for a little while longer. It keeps Drew happy. And if we're trying to position our own target elsewhere right now, where it seems like it might be on Taylor first and foremost, why not just entertain the concept, like you said, for a week or so, try to make things happen, and then you can deal with the aftermath of this like a little bit later.
Absolutely. It's worth it to at least try. The only risk that comes with it, and I still feel like it's a small risk, because like I still feel like Barrett is never going to turn on D or the icons. Drew is kind of maybe a possibility later in the game. I'm just not sure. I think he would have to really feel betrayed by them. And he hasn't felt that yet, because where it works out for then Mallory and Melody is if they don't have Drew and Barrett, they are just lost in a couple weeks anyways. This buys them a little bit more time, but there's still only two people because they don't really have Barrett and Drew, but they would have 2 more weeks or a week or however long to really try to solidify this into something and pull them over in any way that they possibly can.
Just you have to find a way, unless they're going to magically start like trying to bring in other numbers that they have not done a good job at. Like, we've talked about this, like Mallory and Melody, they should have been doing more with Taylor. Like at a certain point, they should have been doing more with Yash. But if they're not going to do that, they have to actually bring in Drew and Barrett and like actually make this quote unquote alliance into like a real and actual alliance, like something that's lasting.
I always forget that Yash is in this game.
Well,
once in a while, we're just like, oh, and Yash, he's still here.
It's so funny. Every now and then we'll have even in the house, people will be like, oh, Yash is in a really interesting spot.
He is, but he's in a very quiet spot.
He's in a very, very quiet spot. And while he has like little tendrils out to people, like it just doesn't feel like he's got like a solid 2, at the very least, not right now.
No, and nobody's like really worried about him at the moment. He's just kind of floating in the middle.
Okay, well, here is another bit of evidence to kind of suggest that this whole 7-person group, if you will, could actually be a little bit of something. So we talked a little bit about how not that long ago, earlier this week, like a lot of the newbies, they got together, like they had a real group conversation where some ideas were floated about, should we go after the icons? This is our game. Like, should we really rally some numbers and try to make this happen?
Yes.
originally Barrett and Drew were sort of like, okay, we're obviously going to tell the icons about this.
Yes.
And I know that's frustrating for people, but at the same time,
that's the game that they're playing, guys.
Yes.
They are playing with the icons. I understand it's
Yep.
frustrating, but that is the game they're playing.
Yeah. And do you really want to risk somebody else in the newbies telling the icons before you? Like, that comes across really, really shady.
They would be done, especially Drew. Drew doesn't know that he was in such huge trouble last week for them being concerned he was doing something like that when he wasn't. Could you imagine if he actually was doing something like that? He'd be done.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had to say something. Barrett kind of led the charge with this at first. Drew joins in. And I think the way that they described a lot of it was interesting because, like, there were a lot of voices in this room. It's not just singular one person, but Barrett tries to set this up as that Lala was sort of the top voice and a lot of the architect. And yeah, she was talking a lot, and that Devins was one of the biggest people brought up, which is also pretty accurate because, as we've talked about, Taylor and Lala, they do want Angela and Dee out eventually, but they've sort of cooled off on, oh, they have to go before jury. It does seem like Devins is one of the people that they are more concerned about at this point.
Out of the three of them, I'm the most worried about Devins as well if I'm in this game. I know that Dee has one survivor.
Yes.
And she can win again for sure.
Yeah.
But Devins, we said this yesterday, he is so charismatic. He is so friendly. People love him so much.
Yes.
He's very good at having you leave the game and feel good about yourself. We even had Rome out there being like, Devins is so good. What a great guy. I'm like, wow, he ran the bus over you and you're out here like praising him. There's something very special and dangerous about Devins. Nobody wins sitting against him at the end.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to, we've talked about this, one of Taylor's greatest skills as a player is how observant she is. And it's like, she's trying to work more with Camus, but like, I think she is seeing Camus is talking about wanting to bring in Devins to this group, which is a mistake, and how Drew really views Devins as a father figure. And it's like, it makes perfect sense for people to be talking a lot about him. But through this whole retell of this meeting, Drew and Barrett, like, yeah, they talked about Mallory and Melody as a part of it, but they also were pretty careful in trying not to throw them under the bus too hard and make it seem like, oh, they're leading the charge. They're trying to take you. It's like they're trying more, at least in my opinion, to play both sides than they were previously. Like, yeah, they told Devins the Alliance name, which it seems like they are already going to have to change for the show, the FAP. But it also feels like
you called that yesterday.
Yeah, of course they're not going to let you guys. This is the bleepity bleep Alliance. Like,
yeah, I know.
Come on, but no, like they're doing some of this, but I also don't feel like they want Melody or Mallory to be going next week, and they're trying to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Dee, of course, is not a dummy. Dee recognizes what they're doing, but she's just like, you know what? It's fine. Like, we can live with this. We'll just let them have their fun for now, and sort of we can assess the situation moving forward where, yeah, it feels like right now Taylor and Lala, like, they could be the people more focused on, but, you know, Dee can change her mind later. She's going to find some way to spin it. Like, this is the thing. If Dee wins the next HOH and she tells Barrett, oh, by the way, we're putting up Mallory and Melody, do you think he's really going to be like, no, you can't do this?
No, they will continue to just vote with the icons for now. They won't have the votes anyways.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, the person who seems to be the most hesitant about all of this idea of having Melody and Mallory come in a little bit more is Devins, but that's just because, like, Taylor has tried to throw Mallory and Melody under the bus. So, I mean, this is classic Big Brother, though. We have all these different sides of the house trying to find a way to throw each other under the bus, and there is still that understandable fear that all of them have about Devins, because Devins probably has some element of power.
And he absolutely does. Okay, for this next part, we're going to put on our tinfoil hats.
Okay, so one thing that we know that I especially believe that the Survivor players care about, and, you know, especially Devins, he's got a reputation to uphold here, right, as America's dad. I think you want to be liked by America. I think you want to be popular by America. While Mallory got a punishment, this is still clear evidence that America really, really likes her. Do the icons want to go against something that America really, really likes at this point in the game? And also, if we're going to kind of go by Big Brother transitive property here.
Mm-hmm.
If Mallory just got into the time capsule, would you not think that there is a good chance that Melody is going to be the next person as well?
Yes, and I feel like, they've played this game enough times, meaning Survivor. They've been in reality TV enough to
Yes.
know that America's vote does matter. America's perception matters.
Yeah.
That's why, we've talked about this when they announced there's going to be all these powers in America's vote, that both of us are just like, because it does end up in a spot where they're playing for America as well.
Yeah, and that's why it's always going to be hard, these seasons that have this outside interference. It's just like, we can't be here and be like, Big Brother needs to be pure, because since when has Big Brother ever been pure? But still.
Listen, America's been involved in some which way or another since season 1. Remember when we all got to used to vote on who goes out?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Okay, well, so let's just talk a little bit about, all right, well, what will Mallory do in the event that she gets power here? If she's going to not go down this road of, all right, I'm going to try to split up the crossovers of the icons or whatever. Barrett's already trying to encourage her to put Yash up over D. That's like, I know you have some issues with D. She put you on the block. Let's just do Yash, and then you can put up whoever's left between Chuk or Haley, and then you can put up Kamu. If Kamu's really the person you want out of the game, here you go. Here's a way in which to do this. Haley, she has won something, and, Yash has won a blockbuster. It's not like these people have won nothing. Like, they could compete at least with Kamu in some of these competitions.
Yeah, I mean, the house is all pretty evenly spread out of, like, actually winning something.
Yeah, it feels just like a lot of people are going to be scared about the icons right now. They know they're a problem later on down the road.
They're a problem now.
Yes.
You guys not looking at them as the wild. And I say that as someone who loves Devin.
Yes. And it's just like, we've heard Drew, and Drew's kind of along a similar wavelength here where, he can't stand Kamu really either. He would consider putting up Lala, but it's like, they're all kind of steering clear of them right now, whether it is fear of, it coming back on them, fear of the powers, like something else. Now, we have praised Lala and Taylor a lot this week for getting information, forming new bonds.
Yeah.
Here is the big problem with them, is that they are putting too much trust into Drew at this point, where they feel like Drew did not go and tell on the newbie meeting, even though he already has. I mean, Barrett even did it before Drew did, and they're like confident right now that they're pretty well covered everywhere leading into this next HOH. And it's just like, you guys need to realize that if you are looking at D, she is probably also looking at you.
This is the thing with Drew of why I think he preseason and even at the beginning of the season, getting to know him even more, of why I thought he could actually win this game as one of the newbies, because his social game is just, it's really good. People really do like him. And I think that that's really dangerous going further into the game. If, people are going out of the house and they still really like you, or they're going to jury and they still really like you, they'll throw a vote on you.
All right, let's give an Angela possible crisis update here.
Yes.
We say this on the day in which, we're all still thinking about the last blow up with Haley that for some reason they didn't want to give us on the feeds. But okay, so
Angela, hold it together.
Okay, this is going to be tough for her, because there's one thing that Angela really, really hates. It's when people use her emotions. And we've already gone through this with Jason earlier on this season. We already knew that with this whole blow up with Haley, that she was specifically brought in part by Kamu, because he wanted to cause chaos and blow things up. Like, he and Dee had been even staging some fake fights here or there. The problem with Kamu, he is so proud of himself. Anytime he does something right, and he's not a bad player, but it's just like, he can't shut up about some of the plays. He spent days going around and talking about, I used Angela for this, guys. I did this. I helped us. I found a way to kind of do this and mess things up in the house.
Save it for when you have to convince a jury to vote for you. You don't need to do it now, because Angela's a hurt, and I would be hurt as well. I completely understand. I think most people, even with the toughest skin in this game, is going to end up feeling hurt that they're being used, and especially with emotion. I'm a Pisces. I have said it. I'm super emotional. I cry over everything, except I didn't cry over Felix going to preschool. I was actually really happy for him. He went in and he had such a good day.
He was so friendly.
But I would be really hurt as well over this, like, especially since this has already happened to her.
You know who's the real winner in this, though? It's your guy, Drew. Like, here's...
How is this happening? He's getting out of it. Let's go, Drew. We Druthers.
Yeah, Drew giving Angela this information, like, hopefully this stops her from spiraling about Drew for the next 24. Like, he is out here giving her valuable information to tell her, you know what?
This happened.
Yeah, you can't really trust this person. And I think she already had it in the back of her head to be wary about Kamu. But now we're sort of having to go back to that, metaphorical sign of blank days without an incident for Angela, because like she kept it together with Jason for a handful of days. She's got Dee, she's trying to talk to, making sure she doesn't go completely downhill with all of this.
I feel like if Kamu wins this next HOH, she will end up going downhill. It'll all just kind of fall apart for her. I think as long as he doesn't get into power next, she might be able to continue on.
And it's going to be, I think, especially difficult just because, I don't think the icons would be that mad if somebody else tries to go after Kamu, but I think like Dee and Devon's, they do benefit from Kamu being around right now because he's a big target. And it's like you need someone to sort of deflect some of that off of you for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, like Kamu's not winning his way to the end right now. We still have so much game left.
Okay, now the last thing, since we started this video off with Barrett, let's also conclude it with Barrett in this camera talk because outside of shouting us out, which we very much appreciate.
Thank you, Barrett.
He did something that I think is really interesting. Like, we've heard people study the days and all that. Like, that's nothing new. Like, that's not exciting television. What I found interesting is that he is already practicing in there a lot of like the metaphorical questions, quotes, things that people could be used for when it comes to the end of the game and some of these later comps. Like, we've seen this in like the final HOH. What jury member said, insert blank here? Or what do you think Angela's opinion is going to be on this fight? And they give you multiple choices. Like, this is the superfan advantage where if you are actually good at every other part of the game, and yes, Barrett still has to prove himself on some of that.
Yes.
It's like, this is where you can actually really capitalize on it at the very end because you can put this knowledge to use. So this is one of the few times this season I will applaud Barrett and say that you're doing a good job with that.
No, it is really important because this information does all come back if you make it to the end of the game.
All right, well, we will turn this now to you guys. What do you think about Mallory and Melody working with the crossovers? Who do you want to actually see go tomorrow night? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
And we will see you here next time.